No, because I have to go outside of the
Okay, we're
hoo-ha in
going to be
order to look
live
at
in
the hoo-ha.
about, we're going to be live in, well, we're live now.
Okay, there we go.
There we go, all right.
Aha, yes.
Okay, so the goal here is to get Otangelo to come in and defend himself because
If he sees me, he probably won't.
well, he said something that was an absolute, that was 100% inexact. And I need to challenge him on that. Hey, Zayas, how are you doing? Welcome.
Oh, hello there. Yes. Hello, Quasar and Alpha. Good to see you.
Hey, Zaz, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yes. Yes, I saw you in the clubhouse room. That clubhouse den.
Not me.
Oh, you like? Are you in there? But I saw Alpha in there.
I'm not. I've never ever been to Clubhouse.
Yeah, you've seen me in there, Zaz, but I go under a different name.
Ah, but I've never been to Clubhouse, so I don't know anything about it. Nothing about it. What we're trying to do is we're waiting for Otangelo Grasso to join us, so we can talk about the Shroud of Turin. Essentially, what we're putting forward here is that the Shroud of Turin has been is confirmed to be to have originated around the 1200s or 1300s time period. Yet, Otangelo Grasso seems to insist that that piece of cloth from the 1200s contains an image of Jesus Christ from 1200 years prior to the origin of this cloth. And I just want him to defend that claim of mine. He did say to me earlier that he won't come and talk to me in these hangouts. Why? Because he never gets to win his point. He never gets his point across so that we understand it and take his side. I mean, have you ever heard anything so nonsensical in your life?
Well, you've been very fair to him.
I think so.
You give him a lot of chances.
Yeah, he's not fair to me. He criticizes me and insults me a lot in the chat. But I have a stiff upper lip and all that.
I think right now he's in Veritas, but I'm banned because of Gary. So I can't go in there anymore.
Gary's still around?
Yeah, he's in Veritas. Do you want me to give you the link?
How will that help me?
Yeah, I can't go in because I'm banned.
I don't want to go in anywhere. I like my cozy little room here. My cozy little server. You know?
Okay.
Can I read a statement about the Shroud of Turin?
Oh, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
The Shroud of Turin is said by some to be the burial cloth of Jesus, and by others a medieval forgery. Now, a new study using modern forensic techniques suggests the blood stains on the shroud are completely unrealistic, supporting arguments that it is a fake. And this is outside of the radiocarbon dating of the shroud and the examination of the cloth and comparing that with other types of cloth in antiquity.
Right.
They say the age of the cloth is between 1260 and 1390. That's about as close of an estimate as you're going to get using the type of
Can you repeat those dates?
Radiocarbon dating established that the shroud was from the Middle Ages between the years 1260 and 1390. That's as close of an estimate as that can get.
1260 to 1390, that's a 130-year gap. So it's
Yes,
definitely
because of the
from
fact that the only type of analysis that they were allowed to use of radiocarbon dating, and radiocarbon dating, as you know, is not the best thing to use for newer objects. You can't be. It's not that it doesn't work. It just means that it's not very accurate. Because like 130-year swing is, you know, on the grand scale of time, right? That's considered not such a tight estimate, right?
all right. So okay, so 1260 to 1390. All right. So
Yes.
Otangelo,
It was radiocarbon dated in 1988.
okay, so we have some real tangible evidence about the origin of this piece of cloth, Otangelo. You need to please explain to the world about how Jesus's face gets onto a cloth that didn't exist until 1200 years after the mythical death of the mythical Jesus. I think more and more and more it points to there never having been a Jesus. It's all smoke and mirrors, and it's all fear of death cult type stuff. Like I think Otangelo, I think he's extremely fearful of dying. And you know, to the OCD level, which is why Christianity is in his life. It's a desperate attempt to cling onto a pipe dream, a dream made of cotton candy.
Can he hear us? Are you live?
Yeah, we're live.
Are you live?
I'm live, and I'm sending out an APB.
Oh, this is live on YouTube?
I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, let me
Bloody
okay.
hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
I think he blocked me.
He's not going to block you. He's a nice guy. Come on. Why would he block you? Why would he block anyone?
Oh no, he blocked me before. He did. He blocked me on Discord and he blocked me on YouTube.
It's not nice. But
No, it's
that's
not
the way
nice.
things are. You know, what can you do? What can you do? So, Otangelo, this is your name all over it. I guess if you want to come in, I kind of have to provide a way of linking you. So what I'm going to do, Otangelo, is I'm going to include you amongst the most favored guests. And I'm going to post a link for you to come in and join us, for anyone to come in and join us. But Otangelo gets preferred seating status. Does that make sense? Is that correct? Is that okay? Preferred seating status for Otangelo?
The road is paved for Otangelo.
The road is paved for Otangelo. Because the Shroud of Turin is pretty much the yardstick for measuring whether Christianity is actually plausible or true in any way, shape, or form, or not. And I'm banking on that or not.
They do have one argument, that is that that was just another shroud that they wrapped the body in.
Yeah, but it's still a shroud that came from the years 1260 to 1390.
Yeah.
And if they wrapped a body in it, that's possible. But it certainly wasn't a body of Christ.
No.
Okay.
When people talk about the Shroud of Turin on an evidentiary basis, they speak of the artist that created it. So there you go. You know,
Yeah.
the face, the position of the hands, and then no, we do not. Absolutely not.
Another thing.
You'll never. Well,
another thing that is not verifiable.
Yeah, well, you know, you're not gonna find the author of a forgery unless that forger gets caught,
Good point.
wants to be known that it was wants to have that authorship, right?
Yeah.
So what they're saying here is that the artist who made it put the blood stains in the wrong place forensically on the cloth, right? Because it was supposed to have blood stains from his hands and wrists, right, from the nails, and
I
a
don't know
blood
the
stain
history.
from the spear
I don't
going
know. Oh,
into
okay.
Jesus' side, right?
Oh,
'Cause
it's what he was
Well,
wearing
there's
when
two
on the.
different accounts with the spear, right?
Hold on.
One was that they rammed the spear through him to confirm that he was dead. Another, that the spear was rammed into his side as he was ascending the hill, right? Being whipped and carrying the crucifix or whatever. One of the Roman soldiers stabbed him.
Before he
Right?
got on the cross. So he's wearing the shroud, carrying the
Correct.
cross, and he was wearing the shroud being taken down from the cross, and the shroud was left.
Right.
The shroud was left in the tomb when Jesus was gone. Am I understanding this correctly?
The shroud suggests that like some holy power went through it and burned this image into it. Right?
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you about the shroud. Was what Jesus was wearing when he dragged the cross up to the mounting spot. Correct?
No,
No?
it's even dumber than that. No, a
Hold
shroud
on.
is something that you wrap a dead
Hold on.
body in. You're not wearing
Can
it
you
while
allow
you're
me?
still
Can you
alive.
allow me to finish my little conversation?
Yes, shutting up.
So, okay, so if Jesus was not wearing the shroud when he was dragged to the cross, at what point was it put on him to show? At what point was it put on him? Because now I have to assume that he was wearing it on the cross while he was being crucified. Because if the soldier stabbed him with a spear through the cloth, then he was wearing it. Unless the stabbing happened after he was taken down from the cross, but he'd still be wearing this.
You misunderstand me. You misunderstand me. There's no hole necessarily in the Shroud of Turin where the spear wound is, but there's blood. Okay? An artist painted blood on the wrists and painted blood where the supposed location of the spear wound on Jesus' side was, right? And it went through one side and pierced all the way through and came out the other side, right? So the artist placed blood stains artfully in this place where supposedly the wounds were, but according to forensics, he didn't do it right because that's not how blood works when it drips out of a hole, in a living person or a dead person, right? They basically said, no, these blood stains were applied. They did not naturally form through blood dripping onto a cloth. That was the point of the evidence, Sidney. I'm sorry if maybe I wasn't clear, but the whole point of a shroud is that you wrap a dead body in it. You don't have the shroud on when you're alive, and I don't think that was the claim. The claim is that after he was taken down off the cross, he was taken to right the tomb.
I'm trying to find out
with this supposed shroud.
I don't need to know the point of the shroud. I'm trying to find out when the shroud was placed on the body of this Jesus Christ. Was it on when he was on the cross, or was it after he was taken off the cross?
It was after he was taken off the cross. He was prepared for burial by these women, and they wrapped him in the shroud.
Got it.
And they placed his body inside the tomb.
Okay, yeah.
And closed it with a rock.
Okay, so then.
And then when they came back, Jesus' body was gone, and now we're in the empty tomb part of the dumb story.
Okay, but was there a shroud in the empty tomb?
Yes.
Okay, so the shroud in the empty tomb originated between 1260 and 1390.
According to radiocarbon dating and comparison
of
antiquitous fabrics.
This shows
but the body could have been still rewrapped. But the body could have been rewrapped in that one.
How's the body going to last for 1200 years?
No, but he was mummified. They've got his body already in the original shroud.
But mummification is
okay, let me go check my Bible for these facts.
I don't think there were any. I don't remember the Easter Rising story have any zombification or any mummies or any rotting corpses or anything like that.
Oh,
No.
that's in the
When
Bible
they
for
took
sure.
Jesus's body off of the cross, you know, he
No.
smelled like bathwater and roses. They wrapped him in the shroud. They put him in the tomb. He still smelled sweet. They closed the rock, and then for some strange reason, they opened the tomb 3 days later and found his body gone.
Usually, when they put somebody in the tomb when they're dead, the tomb stays closed and sealed. What's going on here?
My point.
How come they open up a tomb? I've never heard of anybody being entombed in a tomb and then them coming to open the tomb to see if he's still alive after they've killed him and they put him in a tomb.
Is his body still in there? Is he indeed a holy being?
That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense to me at all. A tomb is a final resting place for your human remains.
Right. But here
and you don't go and open up the fucking door 3 days after you've buried somebody.
And
Right,
also
sir.
remember, they stopped. They refused any testing on the shroud for, I think it was 5 years.
Let's see this there. There you go. Murky,
the radiocarbon
non-transparency.
dated it in 1988.
Murky.
They found it before then. They refused.
Right,
For
and
some
then
years they refused.
and then
The Catholics.
well, yeah. Well, hear me out. So
Yeah.
20 years goes by before they let them do the analysis for the blood evidence.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I pretty much told you the results of what they found. They said this is total bullshit, and it's not a good forgery either.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally been done by somebody who thinks this is where the blood should be and go duppy with a brush.
Right.
You know,
Right.
use real blood, but who cares? You know,
I don't care.
the fact that it's not in the right places and forensically not dripping or pooling correctly means that they call it. That's why they were saying the artist that created it, because the other thing that I think is interesting is this venerated holy object has no mention in the Bible. They did not say they came to an empty tomb. They looked upon the place where Jesus was buried and found a filthy old rag, and found the shroud, but no Jeebus.
Usually they bury somebody in a casket or something. They just laid him on the slab of nothing with a shroud. That's his burial.
With a shroud over him, yeah. This is the claim. This is the claim. The way they buried people back then. Blah blah blah.
Something is fishy.
Well, at least in
fishy,
that
fishy,
region.
fishy.
Because other cultures actually do a lot of air burial, you know, which means that they take the body up onto a high cliff and they respectfully dismember it and allow the scavengers to take it away.
Right.
And there's a lot of cultures that do this way. You know?
I think we're burying Christianity right now.
They also threw the victims of
at least
gutting
it and leaving it to the vultures
into a pit, so people had to come up to the pit and actually identify their whatever relative and take them away.
Nice.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of evidence that Jesus could have even afforded it to.
Exactly, he was just thrown in a pit and would have been taken away by his whatever's relatives, etc.
Yep.
Romans would.
Well, maybe the Christian claim is that they were dragging him towards the pit, but the relatives intercepted him and said, "No, we're going to put him in this tomb that we paid a lot of money for." And go Jeebus.
Go Jeebus.
Otangelo Grasso, come
on,
Otangelo, talk about the shroud.
Don't be a coward. We know you're out there watching. We know somebody has told you that this channel is open for you. We know these things.
And we can talk about the age and examination of the cloth, and we can talk about where the blood stains are.
Yes,
Let's talk about it, Otangelo.
Come on, Otangelo. You and us.
We're literally using archaeological lines of evidence and like criminal lines of evidence at the same time.
But we will respect your
right.
right.
Kind of gives us a bias if we're using two different methods of authentication.
We'll respect your right to have your 30 seconds at a time say. Okay, because when you go on and say, I haven't finished my answer, you're interrupting me, which is why we're giving you the 30 seconds uninterrupted. After 30 seconds, if you haven't made your point, then it starts getting to sound like preaching. So I think we're going to stick to that. I should get a timer happening. Oh, I already have one. Thank you. So come on, Otangelo. It'll be fair. It'll be unbiased. You'll have your uninterrupted 30 seconds. If you need more, we'll grant you more. But 30 seconds is usually enough to make a quick point. So yeah, I think this is going to work out just fine.
I don't know if you should put a time limit on it, Sidney. I think you'll scare him away. But we can
it's a
say,
time limit on all
Otangelo,
of
that we
us.
want to have a we
We
want to have
all-
a
We are all subject to the same rules. That's only fair.
I don't know why you would bother making rules for somebody who doesn't obey them. You know, he's just if he does come in, he's
It's
just going to
not
run right
rules.
over that 30
Well, I
second
have
time
ways-
limit anyway.
I have ways of enforcing these time limits. Don't worry about it. Don't be negative towards my attempt to expose the Shroud of Turin for the fraudulent fake relic that it is claimed to be, that it is, where it is claimed to be an actual Christian relic from the time of Jesus. What utter nonsense.
Well, I just want to have a substantive conversation and not a trip to the all-you-can-eat waffle bar
Correct.
where Otangelo is just waffling on and on.
Yeah, that's why the
Just
30
serve
seconds.
waffles.
That's why Tangela gets a full 5 seconds to make his point.
Oh
Just-
dear.
Just
You
kidding,
keep shrinking the
Otangelo.
time.
Just kidding. 30 seconds. So, sir, where are you, Mr. Otangelo?
That's Otangelo. Because the blood stains are in the wrong place.
I just
And
discovered that.
just for the edification of our audience, this whole concept of stabbing a godhead figure that walks on earth in the side with a spear as this godhead is being sacrificed either by an angry mob or by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That spear stabbing thing is actually taken from Odin, Wotan, because he was bound to the tree Yggdrasil,
Yeah.
and his side was pierced with a spear.
So, you think that somebody stole that idea?
I'm thinking that religions, languages, and cultures evolve. And when they evolve, they take things from the past and incorporate them into what they have, so they can make it more accessible to maybe a neighboring tribe.
Right.
You know, like, we want you to come over. We don't want to fight you anymore. We want you to come over and be our friends. But in order to guarantee we're not going to fight anymore, you have to join our religion. But here's the good part. You're going to get to the same holy day off. We have the same story where our hero is strapped to a tree and stabbed in the side with a
Well, ouch.
sword, or a spear,
ouch.
rather, or specifically a spear.
Indeed. I still say ouch.
And and those people next door go, well, that's a really important part, right, of our legend, is that, so maybe we can accept this. Maybe this, they say to themselves, maybe this new incarnation is a lot like Wotan, right? I, for one, just don't want to fight anymore. Let's join their religion and start trading with them.
Indeed.
And that's if they do it the nice way, not through bloody conquest and genocide and God-sanctioned murder.
Right. This is not working. Has Otangelo joined yet?
He hasn't joined the Discord, no. Is he trying to join?
I've got my timer ready. Okay, this is how long 30 seconds is. You ready? On the count of 3, I'm going to start the 30-second timer. 1, 2, 3.
Dave.
Dave's not here.
That
man.
is 30 seconds right there. Okay, so that's a long time to say stuff, to talk. You don't have to go on longer than that. If you do, then you're hogging the floor.
Well, Sidney has unequivocally proven that he can keep his mouth shut for that long. I don't think I quite made it, but
Well, I can be a sport. But I have put out well, does anybody want to come in and defend the Shroud of Turin? Even devil's advocate if you want to be, but I don't really suggest you do. I think that you should come in and defend the come in and defend your the Shroud of Turin, or prove me wrong, because I'm stating to you right now that Jesus is a myth, that your God is imaginary. Now, come on in, prove me wrong, but you can't. I know you can't. That's probably why you won't come in, because you know you'll stumble, stutter, and will have to be calmed down afterwards, after you have come to the realization that you've been wrong all along. But it's okay. We're here to support you, and we understand. We have empathy for your plight. So if you have any doubts about the veracity, the plausibility, the possibility that your God might not really exist, you come to the right place. We have Quasar and Alpha sitting, waiting to counsel all those who are tumbling out of religion and have nowhere to go. Well, you can come here. But until that happens, we're waiting for Otangelo to join us to talk about the Shroud of Turin. He's very familiar with the Shroud of Turin. I've heard his argument many times, and every single time
he loves to whip people out and slap them with it.
Yeah, and every single time he pulls out his Shroud of Turin argument, it becomes an absolute farce. Because it's so hokey. Well, it's pretty absurd.
Mm.
You know,
It's so easy to prove wrong.
Yeah, he pretty much has to resort to, were you there? Were you there? I didn't know anything, man. Were you there?
Yeah, it don't have to be. I said within 95% accurate. 130 year.
You know, there's another thing I could ask
130 year worth of wiggle room there, but
Right, exactly. But there's another thing I can ask Otangelo. In fact, I can ask all the Christians, any Christian at all. I could say, like, there is no contemporary records, not one fragment of any temporary records from the time that Jesus is imagined to have lived. Nothing. How does a Christian deal or process that information and not have any doubts about, or not have any questions about how come there's no written documentation from the period when Jesus allegedly lived in a time of global upheaval for the region, and lots and lots of recordings of lots and lots of things both prior and subsequent to the alleged time of Jesus. Come on in and answer that question. If Alpha can answer it, fine, I'll listen. If Quasar, even better, I'll listen. But I don't think Alpha will be able to come up with a decent answer, because we kind of think the same. So the only one who's possibly in this room right now who could give a decent answer is Quasar. Maybe. You think, Quasar?
Pardon?
See? Exactly. That was succinct and to the point. Thank you. Thank you, Quasar.
You caught me
So if any Christian can come in here and do better than Quasar, you're invited.
I actually remember this when it came on TV here in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They found the Shroud of Turin, and for years it would come on the news regularly that those people that had the Turin, the Shroud, they refused any testing whatsoever because they didn't want to take cuttings off the Shroud to hand over as for testing. So that went on for about 5 years.
How did that turn out?
Well, the carbon dating came back to the 13th century.
Mm-hmm. So how does that
1240, 1390, something like that.
how does that in any way promote Christianity as
yeah.
being plausible?
I don't know. Maybe they wrapped the body 1,200 years later. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's God. He can last 1,200 years without decomposing. Yes, that makes sense. No Christians tonight. I don't know if any Christians actually watch the show that have any balls to come online and literally show us how limited your range of thinking is by accepting a mythical figure as an inerrant uncaused cause. Not an inerrant uncaused cause, but just the ultimate uncaused cause. How much of a non-thinker does one have to be to accept that? Is there a degree scale that we can measure them against? I don't know. Otangelo. Come on in, bud. You know you want to. You know you want to. The BS scale, indeed, algorithm. I'm sorry, what was that, Quasar? Or who was talking?
Never mind.
Oh, sorry, Alpha. Go ahead.
Oh, wasn't important.
Well, go ahead anyway.
Oh, I think I forgot what I was going to say now.
That happens to me.
I had earphone trouble, so I had to.
Yeah, you see, when I lose my train of thought or something, then it wasn't important. That's a good excuse. You know,
Well, I'd like to think anyway that the stuff that wasn't that important just falls out the back of the old medulla oblongata. You know,
it should, because we're smart enough to allow it to not even force it to do it. It should be intuitive. It should be intuitive to us by now, technologically speaking, and the knowledge we have, that the whole concept of God was a shakedown of the is a shakedown of the population for money. That's it.
absolutely.
Nothing else.
Now it's been turned into a way to
that's the purpose.
assign a political party to a church.
Yeah, the purpose is money. It's a business.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it tightens the grift by doing that. You know, and you create even more of an echo chamber.
Well, what they do is they tell you that you have an illness, and then they sell you the cure. They tell you that you have an illness, in that you haven't accepted God, and then they sell you God.
I was always taught religion breaks your legs and gives you a crutch.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Religion breaks. Religion. Is there any one? Can anybody come up with one good reason for religion?
Other than community? No.
Including is
community.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You said other than community. So in other words, you can come up with a reason for religion being community. Do I understand you correctly?
If they got rid of 99.99% of the crap and then just kept.
If I understand you correctly, you say religion is good for community.
No, I'm at the other end of the scale. If you remove 99% of the religion, but kept the social part, like the gatherings and where they have fetes and fairs and.
Yeah, then it would be no more destructive than a bowling team. But that's exactly my.
Give it a God.
Is that community is not exclusively the purview of God, right? There are so many different community activities to engage in, like sports or hobbies or common interests or Civil War reenactments or whatever.
Dragon boat racing.
Right?
A lot of people here, a lot of young people here do dragon boat racing in the spring and summer, and at the culmination there are dragon boat races here in Vancouver every year in August or sometime when it's really hot. And guaranteed to be a bright sunny day.
Do you guys get the Birdman rally over in Canada?
Never heard of it.
It's funny.
What is it?
We have all these sports. We have racing, different types of racing, and we have hobbies. But we also have a ton of friendly content here in the U.S. that provide that same type of, I'll give you an example, quail hunting, okay?
Yeah.
I know nothing about quail hunting. I'm about to go join a gun dog
quail
group.
murdering?
Poor
gonna
little
grow up.
quails.
Poor little fucking quails. You're gonna go support
What do the quails do to you?
Yeah, what are the quails do to you?
Okay, but the only thing that I'm going to have in common to start with these puppies is I like these people is I like the same puppies they do. I like the same type of dog, right? But where does religion or politics fit into that, right? It's community.
Wow.
I can go over there. I can socialize. I can be polite, respectful to people, and hopefully that will.
That's
give
right.
Me respect.
But as long as a Protestant, you don't accept any Catholics into this club. Because Protestants and Catholics, they hate each other to the point where it's insurmountable.
Okay.
What?
Give you a dog training group, but bowling team is another great. You know what I mean? Bowling doesn't have any great cosmic impact, right? Win, lose, whatever. People do it just to hang out with each other.
Yeah, well, the bowling teams will be inclusive. Sorry, exclusive. There'll be only Christians, only Catholics, only Protestants. That's still not integrating a society. Religion is against integrating a society. That's what I hate about it.
That's completely true, and we're just offering. Me and Dave are offering alternative communal activities that are typically non-denominational and non-political, right?
Yeah.
And that a lot of these groups actually enforce that because they know how awful it is to have their group divided, where it's half liberals, half conservatives, and they hate each other just because somebody happened to let their ideology, right? There's a reason why a lot of those groups, it's like as soon as you introduce religion or politics in it, you're going to destroy the spirit that would be completely untouched them, right? All we're saying. You don't need religion to have friends or talk about common interests. The fact that in most of the groups that I've joined, they explicitly forbid any kind of divisive talk because it just fucks up everything. And Sidney, I think, has crashed his computer. What do you think?
I think so.
Well, Sidney, you aren't talking.
Oh, man, his computer's a piece of shit. What are we gonna do about it?
Well, your circle is like always lit green. Sometimes it just circles up and then you disappear and.
I disappear? Like, how do you disappear?
Your icon vanishes.
From what?
When you come back 5 minutes later and say, "Oh, sorry, I had some problem."
Where does my icon vanish from?
Alpha, I think it's the nut behind the wheel, don't you?
But where does my icon vanish from? Because I don't necessarily see any icons. What do you mean?
In Discord, you're on YouTube. You'll go to the circle, and then on Discord you'll just time out.
And I'll go to idle if I don't move my mouse for a while. Right? If I'm just listening and I don't move my mouse, then I'll go to idle because there's no movement of my mouse or on the keyboard. But that doesn't mean to say I'm not there.
I think your problem with your PC is it has problems coming out of hibernation. And when it has problems coming out of hibernation, you won't be able to shut down or anything like that. So, you know where I showed you how to turn off fast boot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go into there and you'll see what did I just say? What was I looking for? Not fast boot. You'll see under fast boot. Turn off the other options that are in there. What was I saying?
Well, I'll get to it at some point.
Yeah, hibernation. Sorry, yeah, you got to turn off hibernation. The other